What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have another versus. This time we're doing WWE 2k23 versus AEW Fight Forever. I was excited to do this one because we haven't had an alternative wrestling game since 2008's TNA Impact. Prior to that, we used to get a bunch of different wrestling games, albeit they were all WWE. I missed the days where we had Day of Reckoning, the SmackDown games, and the WWE Raw games on Xbox. But we've wasted enough time. Let's get to it. So I wanted to start off with the visuals and presentation of each game because they couldn't be more different. WWE is obviously going for a more realistic approach, trying to get as close to real life as they possibly can, while AEW went for a more stylized aesthetic with their character models. Both games look very good for what they're trying to accomplish. Face models look good in both games and reflect their real life counterparts, except Sammy Guevara, he just looks off to me. Also, the arenas in both games look crisp and the fans are passable. Next, I wanted to touch on the presentation. This is where we start to see the wedge drive these games further apart. It's no secret to the approach each game takes. Again, WWE is going for a semi-authentic wrestling sim experience, while AEW is taking more of an arcade approach, going back to the WWF No Mercy days, in my opinion. The first major difference is the entrances. WWE 2K offers full-length intros, whereas AEW only shows a portion of a wrestler's entrance. Usually this is at the top of the ramp, or for some like Jon Moxley, they show his entrance in the crowd. Now, both games features pyrotechnics and those things, as well as the boos and cheers for the heels or baby faces. The second major difference is the commentary and arenas. WWE 2K features full arenas and puts it on display when a wrestler's entrance is being played. Also, commentary is being played as a wrestler walks to the ring and during the match. Now, WWE commentary is not the greatest, but it's there. On the other hand, AEW does not feature full arenas. Instead, they opt to give you only a few rows of fans, and the rest is darkened out. As for commentary, AEW only provides a brief snippet before entrances start. Now, during your wrestler's entrance and match, Fight Forever forgoes all commentary, which is unfortunate because I love Taz and crew. So I think that wraps it up for the visuals and presentation. Let's jump between the ropes. Now, this is where the good stuff happens. Each game boasts a decent roster. WWE, you're looking at 200 plus wrestlers, and AEW is coming in around 50, which is more than enough. As for the match types, I'll keep it simple. WWE 2k23 has every match that AEW Fight Forever has, plus more, except the exploding barbed wire death match and the casino battle royale. Before continuing, I wanted to touch on AEW Fight Forever just for a bit because if there was any area that they dropped the ball, it was here. See, Fight Forever offers your prototypical matches, singles, triple threats, fatal four-ways, ladders, tag, you know, the usual stuff. However, they don't offer you any variation to those matches. Example, a ladder match can only be a singles match, and that's only one of the examples. To me, this was a missed opportunity, which means there's less variety in your match types. But I don't want to harp on this too much, so let's get back to it. Now, the most important part of all of this is the gameplay. I'm happy to say both games are terrific and fun to play. However, each game plays and feels different. As I mentioned, WWE takes a more semi-real approach and tries to capture things you may see week to week on TV, while AEW sticks to its arcadey playstyle centered around mayhem and fun. And as a result of that, things play out differently. Let's start with WWE 2K. The pace of the match is a lot slower than what you would get in Fight Forever, which generally leads to longer matches. The gameplay itself has more complexities and nuances to it, like the carry system or limb targeting, stamina, and the reversal system. Now, the feel is more authentic to what you would see on TV. Your wrestlers will be hurt a lot longer. Or if you're in a triple threat and your wrestler gets hurt, they will roll out of the ring, leaving the other two wrestlers to fight while you recover. Then you have things like the oh my god moments, like putting someone through an announcement table or slamming them through the ringside barricade for the 1000th time. These are things that lead to great experiences throughout your match, and they also create a feeling of immersion. Now let's jump over to AEW Fight Forever. Here the matches are much quicker. You get in, wreak havoc, get out, and start a new match. The gameplay here is almost the exact opposite of WWE 2K. Fight Forever is far more approachable to a newcomer. The control scheme is very simple and easy to learn. You don't have to worry about stamina or limb targeting or quick time reversals, things like that. Instead, you just need to know your attack, reverse, and grab button, and you can make a lot happen. As I mentioned, the feeling here is more arcadey. Moves will look slightly more exaggerated and feel like they have much more of an impact. Here your wrestlers will recover a lot quicker. The core mechanic is the momentum meter, like you've seen back in the old wrestling games, where the better you're doing, the higher your momentum becomes. Finishers are absolutely devastating and much harder to kick out of here than the counterpart. Of course, in AEW fashion, they have a ton of weapons to choose from and blood gets everywhere. I'm surprised this game got rated T for teen. One last thing I wanted to mention is that AEW can feel a bit stiff at times, and that's mainly when it comes to the running. Not sure why, but AEW doesn't have directional running like WWE 2K does. And it's not a deal breaker by any means, but it does feel off a bit when going from one game to another. That just about sums up the in-ring part of the video. Next, I want to talk about the creation suite. Now, I don't want to spend too much time here because I acknowledge that WWE games have been around forever and they've had time to flesh out so many creation options. But it's worth mentioning because I feel that it's an integral part of wrestling games. Now, both games offer your standard create a character, arena, team, and things like that. However, what's inside those options is what sets them apart. And to be expected, WWE 2K has far more in this area. But what I was more shocked about is how little AEW had, especially when it came to things like hairstyles, costumes, face options, pretty much everything. It was very limited and it didn't allow you to create any kind of unique character. And I think it's worth mentioning that Fight Forever has no community creations also, which is another missed opportunity. But that's really all I wanted to touch on here. So with that being said, let's wrap this up. Ultimately, I think we have a great game and a good game. After comparing them, I realized just how far ahead WWE 2k23 is. And that's to be expected. I didn't expect AEW's Fight Forever to be a superior game as it's their first entry point. However, I was expecting a lot more, being that this game was developed by Yuke, who has worked on tons of wrestling games. I will say it's refreshing finally having an alternative to WWE games, and I think that this is a great launching point for future AEW games. Make no mistake, this is a fun game, but I didn't want to ignore the issues that exist. If I had to pick one, it would be WWE 2K. I just feel it has much more to offer in terms of content, more match types, game modes, creative options, and things like that. Now, I know I could have gone a lot more in depth, but I wanted to keep this video concise and give you an insight on some of the main points of each game, just in case you may be deciding between the two. But enough of what I think. I'd love to know what y'all think in the comments below. What did you think about this video? Which game do you prefer and why? Have you ever played these games or any wrestling games? Let me know, but that's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please drop a like and a sub as it goes a long way, and I got more coming. Catch you next time.